Leeds, Leeds, Leeds.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Imagine not being Leeds. I don't know if you all want to highlight me still, but 24 hours later almost, and yeah, I'm still buzzing. Been out most of the day with only Leeds bros. We've come over from Ireland. Darren Dillon and Darren's wife Amy. It's been mint. They went to the game last night. We met up with them before and after, and then we've met up with them today for a few drinks, me and Mrs. And yeah, it's really nice to get to know them. And we've started our YouTube journey a similar time. And tomorrow night will be his first. I've been on a couple of times, but tomorrow will be his first night of a particular show. We're starting to push after every game, maybe a day or two after each game, a bit of a wrap up of that game in particular. And yeah, I think you'll enjoy the concept, and hopefully you'll have a look at that tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to that first one. So yeah, I just want to start with lineup. I was surprised to see Aronson start. He went unchanged, but yeah, if Farker deemed them fit enough after playing some of these players on international duty, and they put their hand up and said they were fit and ready, then fair enough. And who might have judged, because they played outstanding, all of them, last night. It's a really easy match review to do this, because it was just from start to finish. It's the best performance of the season for me. I feel it's the most complete performance we've done. I mean, we beat Coventry 3-0 at home, and obviously that was brilliant. That was a really good performance. Sunderland last week, 2 weeks ago, were a really good performance, regardless of the result and Mellier's error. But this was just unreal. When you look at the stature of the side we were playing, everyone's favourite to go up, between us, Burnley and Sheffield United, and then you got Sunderland, I suppose, as outsiders. But those three in particular, you know, Burnley beat us at home 1-0. They sort of proved they're going to be there or thereabouts. Sheffield United were a massive test. 6 clean sheets in a row, 7 in total. Yorkshire Derby, all that upset they've gone through with George Baldock dying, and it was a nice fitting tribute what we did as a club last night. Both sets of fans come together, and you know, with a moment's applause for him, and it was really touching. And then when game started, I just expected it to be a bit more fiery, a bit more blood, sweat and tears. You know, Yorkshire Derby, I was expecting a red card. I just feel like Sheffield United came very tame. I don't feel like they were up for the fight, and normally they are. If anyone, it's normally Leeds who aren't up for a fight, you know, when it comes to a Yorkshire Derby. I tend to feel Yorkshire Derbies mean a lot more to these smaller clubs than they do to us. You know, we've got bigger rivalries and bigger fish to fry. And I just feel like we were up for it yesterday, you know. When you look at centre at the park for us, I mean, every man and the dog will be talking about Tanaka and Rothwell. I mean, how can you not? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Say, I was there at the game. I've not watched the full game on TV. Obviously, I've watched the extended highlights a couple of times just to check a few of the points, you know, that I was seeing it correctly. You can get two different versions, can't you? Watching it live and then watching it at home. And it was just unbelievable, that performance from them two. I cannot believe they've only played together like, you know, 3 or 4 games. Third and fourth choice centre mid pairing. It's unbelievable. They just complement each other so well. We know Farker likes to play with 2 6s, and it's sort of brainwashed me into thinking we need 2 6s. You know, I'm a massive Gruev fan, really big Gruev fan. Obviously, I like Ampadu. He's as captain. He's a great player at this level. But I really like Gruev. But I cannot say that I want Gruev to come back into that midfield. I mean, they're just so good. You know, we don't need 2 6 in there, and that proved it last night. There weren't gaping gaps in, you know, for them to run through. We kept it tight. Rothwell drops back as well and does all that work as well. But the way he drives with ball, his passing, he's honestly, the way he just dictates the pace of the game. Having a 6 and a natural 8 playing in that, you know, centre at pitch, it's unbelievable. It reminded me so much of when we used to have Calvin and Clicky. Really reminded me of that. Clicky, you know, he can get in there, he can make those tackles, he likes to get stuck in, a bit like Rothwell. But going forward, he's always looking forward, he's always looking for that pass, he's always looking to get it in and out of feet as quick as he can. Never goes sideways, don't go backwards. Finds space, one touch, turns, and it's gone. He knows where that pass is going before he receives ball. It seems like he's one move ahead of everyone on pitch yesterday. And he did at Sunderland, to be fair. It looks outstanding. And I mean, Tanaka, he's playing more of the 6 role, even though I do think he probably is an 8. You could argue we've got 2 8s playing in middle at minute, and Tanaka got man at match from Sky, I think, and to say just, he'd been away on national duty, I think he'd been in Australia for Japan only a few days prior. With jet lag, he won't have had much time to rest really, and he won't have had any training sessions as a few of them won't have done. Outstanding, Tanaka. What a player we've got on our hands for, 3 or 4 million. Just unbelievable. For me, I thought Rothwell edged it, but I don't care. I thought they were both, to a man, just unbelievable last night. Like, them two in this form would walk into any team in this league as starting midfielders, and we had them as bench options. I do think Tanaka were always bought with the viewer coming in eventually. I do think it'd have been like last season, where Kamara came in eventually, then Gruev came in, and it took a while to get going. I sort of do feel like eventually Tanaka would have come in for Gruev. But yeah, it's we just couldn't see this happening. You can't legislate for those two getting injured, and I don't want them to come back into the team. Really, I absolutely love how that midfield worked. I love it. I want Ampadu and Gruev to get fit and as soon as I can, but maybe it's too much of a sample size to say. Maybe it is. Maybe in a few weeks I'll be saying something different. We'll have to see. I can only go off what I've seen in the last few games, and that midfield is outstanding. Outstanding. Everything run through that midfield. You win and lose games in midfield. Their midfield is on paper and where they've been playing this season, it's scary. Where were Hamer last night? Where were Callum O'Hare? Where were Arblaster? Where were these players last night that I worried about? They were nowhere to be seen. Nowhere to be seen at all. We just nullified all threats. All threats. Burrows on left. Quiet. They came back. They came and sat, wanted to sit in for a point, really. You can see they started Shackleton. They had Raksaki on bench. I was gobsmacked to their lineup. But Wilder's no mug. He knows what he's doing at this level. But we just nullified everything. We just did not give them time to play. There weren't many periods, like I say, where in previous games we've got a goal up or 2 goals up. We've said, right, you have ball, we reserve energy and we'll go again later. That didn't happen. We kept us foot on the throat all 90 minutes. Yeah, they had a couple of spells. They had a spell when they were a bit more proactive, and they brought some subs on first. I think they had a triple substitution, and it turned tied a little bit. They had a couple of corners. They had a 5-minute spell, and Rodon made an error, and then won it back. But other than those first 5 minutes and maybe 5 minutes in the second half, they did nothing. No shots on goal. I think 5 block shots, none on target. And for a game where Melier is going to be stressed, he's going to be worried, he's going to be nervy, they didn't test him. Thank God they didn't, because we don't know, what it'd have been like. He'd have been so nervous. But thank God they didn't test him. He should have been shoot on sight. They couldn't get anywhere near us to even get a shot away. They were outstanding. Strouk, just a man mountain. I thought Bogle played really well. I thought Firpo were outstanding, but I feel like you don't even need mention now. It's just a given. Firpo's just unreal now. But yeah, I thought Bogle, maybe his best game in a Leeds shirt. I thought he was outstanding. I thought defensively, winning stuff in air, which first few games when he came to us, he weren't winning nothing in air because he ain't the tallest, but he's winning headers. He's back and forth. Just no one got past him. Nobody got past him now. He had Gus Hamer in his pocket. He had Hamer in his pocket. Couldn't get anywhere near him. Just, I don't even know what to say. Pirro, I thought for a game where he didn't score, I do think when Pirro doesn't score and he plays a decent chunk of minutes, it tends to be a poor performance by Pirro. He doesn't tend to do much. The games where he scores, you don't really see that because he scored, and that's fair enough. It's a fair point. If he gets a goal, who cares really? I thought that was the best game he's had in the Leeds shirt when he hasn't scored a goal. I thought he played outstanding. I thought he played really well, and it proved that, to be fair. He was playing up front, and then when Joseph came on, he dropped into that 10 role. A lot of people say he can't play at 10 role, and I don't want him to play at 10 role. Granted, that goal was outstanding for Joseph. Got the ball at halfway line, passed by Solomon. Solomon follows him, gives him that width, gives him that option where it keeps the defender guessing. Solomon goes out to his left, and Pirro just plays a beautiful ball in behind the defender. And Joseph, just the strength, I actually quite like it. He was, it looked like an experienced finish. He was actually holding the shirt of the Sheffield United defender. And it looked like it's going to be a penalty if he didn't score. He was actually holding the shirt. He did really well, and he kept him where he wanted him, and he outstrengthened him, and he just put it away. And he had a lot of time to think about that. And it was the same end where against Burnley when he had a lot of time to think about that finish too, and he fluffed it. That was outstanding. That with the pressure from breathing down your neck, you feel the physical battle he's having. Keeper coming out to him, and he kept his composure and slot it home to put that game beyond any doubt at 89th, 90th minute when we had 5 minutes of injury time that could have been nervy if we wouldn't have got that second goal, and he just put it to bed. It was absolutely outstanding. Farke got everything right, even though we're questioning that lineup. Got it right. Wilder had no answers. He came with a different formation to Wilder. He tried to tweak it. Just didn't have no answers. Like I said in his post-match presser, just better side. Best side we've played all season at Leeds United, and we didn't have answers for him. And you're right, Wilder, you didn't. You bleeding muppet. Absolute muppet he is. I loved it when Crow were saying Wilder's a wanker. It were class. We had a lot of tussles with him over years, and he said some stuff about us all being mugs and stuff. And yeah, I was happy last night that we didn't just beat them. We spanked them. It was a 2-0 spanking. They were nowhere to be seen. Their fans might as well not been there. It was just pointless. They weren't in the game. They were not in the game. If it were a boxing match, Towel would have come in early. It was just while ever it's 0-0, you never know with Leeds United, But we weren't missing big chances. We just hadn't really created that big chance, even though we were dominating. And that corner, outstanding for Strauch. I mean, what a player. What a player. I've got goals back to front because my head's still a shed with it. But outstanding. Ball whipped in from Rothwell. At first I thought, he hadn't beat first man again. It's a poor one. Watching it on reflection, now watching highlights, you can see he meant that. That's a set move. You can see that's a move they've done in training. He's drilled the ball hard and low. Strauch come across and hit it first time with his left foot. Outstanding finish. He ain't the best in the air in the opponent boxes, Strauch. He gets a lot of goals, but a lot of these are with ball drops in box. He's got really good finish from close distance. Hence why he's a penalty taker as well. It was a fantastic finish. There wouldn't have been many people who could have stayed that in with the pace it whipped in. Just outstanding. Like I say, you can see about where he celebrated with Rothwell. He went skidding into him, and you can see he wanted a set move. They knew what they were doing, and it worked perfectly. And it's nice to see because 200 odd corners, however many games, it feels like 10 bloody years since we scored from a corner. It was so nice to see something like that come off for us because we don't get those. We don't get those goals that other teams win. For every 3 or 4 games, they win via a goal from a corner. We don't tend to do that. And it's so hard to score a goal in football. If you can get goals from corners, you're already halfway there. So that there, outstanding to see. And it wasn't even lucky. It was a really well-worked corner, that. And I love that. I love that Rafael got that assist. For me, he's his best player at the minute. He's full of endeavour. He's so passionate. He runs round. You can just see he gets leads, He was like he was running show last night. He was running the show, and he was running it at his own tempo, and no one could keep up with him. And it even looked like he was in second gear, and he just looked to cut above everybody. It was insane how good he was last night. I was worried when he got to about 70 minutes, and he was holding his hamstring. I don't know if anyone else noticed that. We were talking about me and this lovely bloke who I sat next to, and you could see, and he went over to the bench at one point, and he was like shaking his leg, and it's like, yeah, it's tight. And I don't think he's injured as such, but he definitely tweaked it, felt it, we're tightening. That's a bit of a worry going into Tuesday night. I'm hoping it is. It's not, because he managed to finish the game anyway, but they didn't have no options. If he starts to feel his hamstring and we've got Ampadu or Gruev on bench, you make that sub. But when you've only got Charlie Crowan there, you 1-0 up. At home in a Yorkshire Derby against Sheffield United, you can't take that risk really. So they took the other risk to keep him on, and he got through it. I hope he's okay for Tuesday night, because yeah, he's outstanding. I don't know what to say other than him and Tanaka just wowed me tonight. Nonto, okay performance. I thought Ramazani were really good. Really, really good. I think the stuff he does with ball, I love how, he takes one touch and he shoots. He don't fuck around with it. If it's on, the shot's on, he just goes for it. And a really good save down to his left. I think Cooper, their keeper, stopped him from scoring a really, really good goal when he nutmegged the player and shot, and that'd have been a bit of a worldie. I think he's looking outstanding. Everyone said you can't replace Somerville with one player. You have to buy 3 or 4. Fair enough. They have, though. They have. I'm making that call now. They have replaced him with one player. We won't be able to say that properly until end of season when he has got 15, 20 G&A. But I'm telling you now, man for man, he's as good as Somerville. He really is. He's outstanding. He's got a higher ceiling than Somerville for me. Somerville were cutting right foot. Ramazani can go right, he can go left. He's strong. He battles. Yeah, recency bias, people will say, and Cree, I love Cree last season when he were here, he nearly got us promoted. Some games he dragged us through him, but don't write off that he's nowhere near his level, because he is. Ramazan's a very good footballer. He scored for Real Madrid last season at Bernabeu. He's no mug. He's a talented footballer, and he can go very top, and hopefully it's with Leeds. Love him, absolutely love him. But yeah, I could waffle on for days about this game and probably still not really add no else to what I've already said, so we'll call it a day on that. It's been a long day. I'm knackered. Yeah, so thank you. Please make sure you tune in tomorrow to all the Leeds Bros. We'll be going, I think it's 8 o'clock, we'll be going live for his new show. It's going to be a day or two after every game. We'll finalise a proper time slot in the coming days, but hopefully you'll love it. And yeah, take care, guys. Have a good rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.